Okay, so remember when I said back in the last bonus episode that I said that it was probably going to be my last bonus video? Well, after seeing some more of this game, I kind of figured why not make another bonus episode, you know? However, this isn't just going to be any bonus episode. Oh, no. For this bonus episode, this is actually going to be something a bit more specific, only just because I'm going to mention about certain things that I have not mentioned yet in this game, which includes certain abilities that I have not mentioned that you can obtain from certain bosses in the game. So, with that being said, I kind of figured why not head back into the game and show all this, shall we? So, my main target is actually just on 4 bosses for now, which includes Wispy Woods, the harder version Giggy Woods, King Dedede, and Mennonite. Because there are certain secrets that I have not mentioned about them. Well, technically I already mentioned about them back in the last video, but for any of you that are new, that's what I'm going to mention about these secrets right now. Now, of course, let's get to it. Hold on a second. Okay, so let's begin with Wispy Woods first, because there are actually a couple things that I have not mentioned about this dude, which includes, of course, certain things that I have not mentioned about the boss, including some abilities that you can obtain from this dude. So, I kind of figured why not mention about it in this episode, considering that, of course, this will be a perfect time to mention about all this stuff. Now, normally Wispy Woods would, throw a couple of apples at you, spit a couple clouds, but there is a bit more to this boss than meets the eye, of course. Well, a bit more anyway. Now, after he does this inhaling attack for the first time, he'll end up just sending up a couple of enemies, but you'll see what I mean by that later. You see, right here. He's going to end up sending up some enemies. He will first send out these fiery orbs at you, which, of course, will give you the fire ability. Now, I hadn't mentioned this back in the last couple of videos, but you can actually throw some water at it to make it some actual fruit. So yeah, he can give you the ice ability, he can give you the fire, he can give you sword too, so yeah. A pretty interesting nod, So that's why I wanted to mention about that. So yeah, nothing too big out of the ordinary like I mentioned before, but, I just wanted to mention that, okay? Because not many people will see this, so yeah. That's why I wanted to mention this. The other thing I might want to mention about Wispy Woods 2 is that he does also, have an animation that's not normally seen, where, basically if you, throw a friend heart at him, he will end up giving you some prizes and such as a gift, which I did already mention back in that last video too, but in case you guys are new, then this will be a perfect time to mention about it, considering that, Yeah, here's the, sword here I was talking about. Let me showcase that example right now. Let me try to finish them off from here. There we go. So yeah, when he gets into this kind of state, you can't actually throw a friend heart and watch. See? If you throw a friend heart at him, he'll give you some prizes and such. Now, I hadn't already mentioned this back in episode 4, but in case you guys are new, here you go. And there you go. So let's move on to our next one. Okay, next up on my list is, of course, King Dedede, and there is a reason why I'm mentioning about him right now. Now, back in my last video, I did mention about some stuff about King Dedede, but in case you missed it, here you go. So this is why I'm mentioning about all this right now with King Dedede, considering that there's also a couple of things that I have not mentioned about him too, since you technically don't get the hammer, but that's why I came here with a hammer anyway, but that's besides the point. Now, in his second phase of the fight, there's actually some things I've not mentioned yet with the boss himself, so this is why I'm going to mention about this stuff right now, considering that, it's only fair that way. I'm not going to get hit by that sucker. So yeah, these are some moves that have not mentioned the first time I went through the battle. So this is why I'm mentioning about this stuff right now, considering that, these moves were not mentioned in the first couple of videos. So yeah. Nothing too major there, but still. So now for the second phase. Now, there's actually a couple things I have not mentioned about the second phase yet. He may sometimes throw some fruit at you, which, if you have the water element, you can actually use it to create some fruit that you can use as health recovery items, but that's not the reason why I came here specifically. Now, sometimes he will shoot out a couple of rocks at you, which if that happens, you can suck them in to get the stone ability, which is kind of much, you know, that kind of manner, so, yeah. Now, I hadn't mentioned about that attack either, so this is why I'm mentioning about this stuff right now. Now, you can actually defeat him a lot earlier than you're supposed to, but that's going to require some skill, because, yeah. Yeah, but, yeah, here you go. Now, the one other thing I might want to mention about King Dedede 2, I have already covered this back in my last video, but you can obtain him a bit earlier than you're supposed to. And you can obtain him as a Dream Friend much earlier than you're supposed to by throwing a friend heart at him at the last minute when he's defeated, which will give you King Dedede, even though you're really supposed to get him at the end of the game when you visit a Dream Palace. And because of this is also why I'm going to mention about this right now too, considering that, yeah. Here you go. So anyway, there's King Dedede. Moving onwards to Meta Knight next. Alright, so next on my list is of course Meta Knight as expected, and there's a reason why I'm mentioning about Meta Knight, considering that, again, there were a few things I have not mentioned about this guy. Now, normally you're supposed to get the sword to face against him with, but what if I told you that you can actually skip it? You can alternatively jump onto his pillar and do it that way, but I wouldn't really recommend doing it because it's kind of a waste of time, honestly, and the chances of that happening, yeah. So here you go. If you skip the intro where you're supposed to get the sword, he'll automatically kick it and show a different splash image that normally isn't seen anywhere else. So this kind of means that he's the only exclusive boss in the game to have 2 different splash intros, since, of course, he normally doesn't have that. So, yeah. Now, again, just like King Dedede, he can be also obtained a little bit earlier than you're supposed to, too. But there is one other thing I might want to mention about Meta Knight besides just that. The other thing I might want to know, too, is that Meta Knight also does give you a sort of ability in the same exact way as with, of course, the last guy, King Dedede, of course. So that's why I'm going to mention about it in this video, too, considering that he, too, also gives you a random ability. Which is kind of much the same principle as with, of course, the last one, but you kind of get the main idea regardless. Gaining back that sword, that hammer right there. Take it! As you can tell, I'm kind of sucking right now. I love his music, though. So, these stones that he shoots at you, they'll actually give you the stone ability if you manage to hit them hard enough, which is why I didn't mention about this in the last video either, considering that, again, I didn't mention about this. So, I'm not going to get it right in this second, considering, you know. Now, they do give you the stone ability the same way like in that, like King Dedede, but you kind of get the main agenda. So, just that for the matter. So I'm not going to really do it in this video just because. The other thing I'm going to mention about Meta Knight 2 is that, again, you can obtain them earlier than you're supposed to, just like before, so there you go. Last on my list is, of course, Yiggy Woods, which is the harder version of Wispy Woods. Let's get to it. Okay, so the last boss I'm going to mention for now, as far as the ability thing goes, is with Yiggy Woods. And the reason why I'm mentioning about him right now is because even though this guy's a harder version of Wispy Woods, I might as well mention him too, because if I'm going to mention Wispy Woods, gotta mention Yiggy Woods, you know? But anyway, Yiggy Woods is kind of much the same manner as with Wispy Woods. Only main difference is that, again, he's a harder version of course, Wispy Woods. So nothing too major about that. Now, the one thing I might want to note is that his ability and everything like that has been changed a bit, considering that, you know, he's a harder version and all that. Yeah. It obviously means that he's much, you know, faster and such. But that's the actual point. Now, he does give you the fire ability against Sand Lakes before, only just this time these fire orbs are much larger than they were before. And as far as abilities go, he does give you water, fire and some other abilities, but he does also drop down some Gordos too, so just be careful with that. Other than that, though, nothing too major about that, just that kind of sort of thing, so yeah. Oh, he does also give you staff too, so that's another good pointer that I might want to point out. There is one more ability that he does also give you, but it's only exclusive in his second phase of the fight. Which is right now. Sometimes when he drops down these large amounts of cherries, he can sometimes give you a golden one. These will give you the festival ability. Oh, which at that point, yeah. So it was kind of worth it mentioning about it, so. So you kind of get the main idea. He does also drop some combos too, so that's the other thing I might want to know too. So yeah. Other than that though, nothing too major there, but yeah. Other than that though, there you have it. But there is one more thing I do want to know with Wispy Woods, so let me mention that real fast. Okay, this isn't really counted as anything secretive or anything, but something weird I might want to mention during the Wispy Woods boss fight, if you have the fire ability or any ability with the sizzle element, if you manage to defeat Wispy Woods with these kinds of sort of abilities, well, the result is kind of strange. I mean, if you throw a friend heart at him while having the sizzle element and everything like that, something strange can actually happen. And what I mean by strange, I mean really strange. Like, actually very weird can happen. I don't know how they do this, but even if you burn Wispy Woods, you can still, for some reason, become friends with him, and I don't see the logic in this. Like, watch. But look at that! How does that make any sense to you? The fact that you can still friend with him even if he's charted? How does that make any sense? I mean, like, I don't see the logic in that. I just wanted to mention that just because that looked a bit weird, but there you go, I guess. So yeah, there you go. There's your battle for you. But anyway, I'm going to cut and meet you guys back. So hold on. Okay, so my friends, that's going to wrap things up for this bonus episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this third bonus episode. And I'm not quite done yet, okay? I may have mentioned 4 bosses already with ability combos, but this is only part 1, okay? I might mention about some future... Wait, why is there 2 banana wallabies? Okay, never mind. But anyway, I might mention about some more of these boss abilities later in the future in the same exact way as I did for the last couple of bosses. But you get the point. I'm going to mention some more about these in the future, just like I did for this one, so don't worry. More is still to come. But regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll be glad to see you guys when I come back for the next episode. And the next video is actually going to be a bit interesting. You'll soon see. But until next time, I will see you guys later. Until next time, bye.